YouTube, Shuriken Shub here with a review of the Shuriken Sentai Ninninger DX Lion Haoh. And that clicking is my dog because, as evidently, I'm not at my review station because this thing is just too darn big. It's insanely big. And in no way, in no how, could fit in my review station. So I do apologize for all the background noise. You got refrigerators, you got dogs clicking, you got cats scratching on things. The cat might even jump up on the table and try to review Lion Haoh herself. I don't know. So we will see how it goes. But this was released way back in July 2015 for some insane amount of money. About 9,000 yen or so at least. It was open price, so it fluctuated a little bit depending on your place of purchase. So yeah. It's definitely big. It does have some cool things to it. And here is a quick look at the box, obviously, because that was just way too big to bring in. Here's some pictures of it. Nothing too thrilling other than being absolutely ginormous. So without further ado, I guess let's just go ahead and jump right into this thing. I do apologize for the weird lighting and a different perspective and everything about this review, but this is about the only way that I could have pulled it off. And I do apologize for how late it is as well. For those of you that don't follow my vlogs, I lost Shurikenjin's sword for the longest time, and I didn't want to do this review without it. And it was just kind of a mess all around. But everything is recovered, and the table's finally clear, and everything and such. There was probably a sneak peek of my cat. So, let's just go ahead and jump right into this beast. So this is the Lion mode, or the Sky Fortress mode, or whatever. This is the base mode. It rolls. That's really about all it does. There's no actual electronics in the toy itself. All the electronics are in the Shuriken. Down here we'll take a look at that momentarily. But yeah, he rolls. That's really all he does. And there's the cat. Can we attack the cat with it? Fun times. This is going to be a fun review. I'm not taking myself seriously at all because I'm not in my review station. So, you get crazy Shuki for this review. Yeah, so really that's about it. There's some chrome specs that look really nice. I love how mammoth it is. It is probably the biggest mecha I own. It's on par in size with Pyramidas, I think. I think Pyramidas ends up being taller, but I think it's just as wide as Pyramidas or whatever the Japanese name was. I don't know it. But, yeah, so it's cool in that regard. I think it looks really neat on display. If you have the room to display it, that is. I think it looks really cool. The hollow chest cavity is a little bit... I wish there was a cover or something, because like from above, it looks really bad. But just the hulking mass of this thing, I think, looks really impressive, and I like it quite a bit in that regard. So there is that. Like I said, there's no real sounds or anything. Everything is down in the Shuriken, and you can actually press it from here. So that's this mode's sound. So you get those two sounds, nothing crazy. There's the cat again. Let's attack it. Fun times. So, like I said, that is it for this Sky Fortress mode. It's nothing. Nothing too crazy. To transform it into the robot mode, take your little Haoh Ninja up here, and he actually looks like remarkably like a Ranger Key. I don't know if the camera's going to focus, so I'll put up a picture right in this spot, but he looks exactly like a very tiny Ranger Key, like a US Ranger Key. So, you have the little Haoh Ninja, just set him aside, we'll use him shortly. And then you basically just kind of lift this guy up and twist him at the same time. You want to take the little shuriken things out and actually separate them into two. So you want to move that, and then this piece comes off as well, this big gold piece. And so you're going to want to flip him up just like that, and then flip this entire entire portion of robot around so that it looks something along the lines of that. And then from here, simply swing these around. That will reveal arms. Remove the shuriken. And then this lion head is actually gonna just swing down right there and clip into place if you have the leverage to, and then fold that down because that's where Haoh is gonna sit. And so we're getting there. You take the shuriken as always, take the little piece, fold that, and then pop it right in there. But before we fully activate it, I want to do the rest of the stuff. Take your little Haoh, get him into a sitting position, just like that, and he will clip right in to the little seat area. Just like that. So now he's all nice and secure in there. This gold piece right here is actually going to plug in right there, but before I do that, I did realize I had this backwards because I'm an idiot. So that actually swings around the other way. This will plug in right there, because now that looks a lot more right in terms of an actual design. And so we pop this in. So there you go, there's Lion Haoh. You can take the little shuriken pieces and just plug them right into his arms, or his hands rather, right there. And there you have Lion Haoh. And it's a neat looking robot, I think. It's obviously very brick. There's not a whole lot to it in that regard. He doesn't have like splittable legs or movement or anything. He rolls very well. In fact, this table's kind of on a slight slant and he wants to move by himself. But you do have rotation there in the arms as well, obviously. And you do have a bit of waist movement because of the transformation itself. So there is that. I like the look of Lion Haoh a lot. I'm really disappointed that it's not one of the fighting action robos that we got. Because I would have thought that Lion Haoh would make a really cool one. Just because we don't have any sort of articulated Lion Haoh or something. And I think it's a neat design. I like the red, I like the lion. I kind of like how the Chozetsu Haoh sits right in the middle there. I think it's kind of cool. So all in all, I think it's a design that really works. The only flaw with it in this presentation is the fact that these are like platforms because of how Shurikenjin Haoh, or Haoh Shurikenjin rather, works. So they kind of have like, he has like big feet sort of, is what it ends up kind of looking like. But I think at the end of the day, it's a design that works. If you can get over the fact that he's basically just a brick. There's the cat again. It's actually a brick design that works for me. I like what it does, and it's actually probably my favorite looking robot of all of Ninninger. Actually, it's very fluid, and I dig it quite a bit. So there is that. You can press the button on top of the shuriken to hear the little announcement again. So there's that. But yeah, that's really about it. Alright, so now it's time to combine all three of these guys. So before we get, he's flipping his belly out apparently. Before we get too far into this, to go ahead and transform the Lion Haoh portion, just take off the Haoh and close up the mouth, pop the shuriken off, and then flip that entirely around, and you can kind of see the formings happening already. Transformation for Bison King is actually super duper easy. Just take off this gray piece on the back, and then this entire upper portion will come right off. Remove the gun as well, because that's kind of important for later. And then this entire assembly, you're just kind of swing these arms backwards, just like that, and that's really about it. It's just gonna fit right on the back there. So the gray piece is just gonna plug into the gold piece right here, if you can find the hole. right inside there. And then this entire back section of Bison King is just going to go ahead and plug in. These tabs right here are going to plug into these holes right here. My hand is kind of blocking my way, and I apologize for that. I'm not used to filming at such weird angles. It is kind of not the easiest thing in the world to do. There we go. Did anyone fall off? No, I think we're good, actually. So yeah, there's all that. It does make it back heavy until you get Shurikenjin in there, so just kind of keep that in mind. Speaking of Shurikenjin's role in all of this, simply take off the shield, remove the sword, but don't lose it like I did for about 3 months. And all you're going to really do is flip these little arms of the Drago up so they're straight, and then fold the arms just so like he's running forward or something. I don't know what he's doing. And then these are going to fold as if Shurikenjin was taking a dump. So now he's in a sitting position, so we can take him and simply plug him right into here. He will peg in securely, so he's nice and good, and then swing up the, what was the guns in Lion mode, are now the joysticks for this combination. Shurikenjin's shield is going to plug right into this arm right here. Meanwhile, Bison King's gun is going to plug in right here. Shurikenjin's sword is going to plug in right here. And finally, you're going to take Bison King's legs, split them apart, and one will have a peg unit, one will have holes, and then so do Lion Haoh's arms, or hands, rather. So obviously match the peg with the hole, and the hole with the peg. And then finally, the Shuriken is just going to sit right on the very top. It's a lot of fanfare. And then little Ninninger is actually, there's a hole right at his feet and a peg right on the outer rim of the Shuriken, and he will stand proudly on top of this monstrosity. So here you go, here's Haoh Shurikenjin. And it's neat in its own kind of way, I suppose. His shield's kind of messed up. There we go. From the back, he's kind of a mess. You just have this hunk of Bison King just hanging off the back of him like some sort of weird butt flap. That is, I'm not a huge fan of. It doesn't do anything for the combination other than use all the pieces of Bison King. And really, to be fair, if you're just attaching it to its butt, is it really using all the pieces, or you're just finding a place to shove it up his butt, apparently. So, not a huge fan of that that portion. I like that it uses all the pieces, sure, but it's kind of a bummer that their idea of using all the pieces was just, let's just take the entire upper portion of this robot and smack it onto the butt of this giant one. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I kind of dig the shield on the arm, even though I guess it sort of would make more sense on this arm, but that was the arm the instructions told me to put it on, so I hope I'm doing that right. If I'm not, I apologize. But yeah, I like the big guns. The big guns are definitely cool, and I like the concept of this, really. Just the fact that Shinobi Maru is a little robot piloting a big robot mech suit who is piloting a bigger robot mech suit. So I like the whole, like, Inception level of robot mech suits going on here that I can really appreciate. So, regardless of what you think about it, I think they nailed the whole motif that they were going with this. So I dig that in that regard. You can actually kind of swing these arms down a bit if you don't want them always pointing the guns directly straight ahead. Kind of makes the shoulders look weird, but hey, it's something that you can do. Yeah, I don't know. I like this for whatever reason. I like this. It's one of those combinations where I'm really disappointed it can't utilize all the mecha. We have Gekiyatsu Daioh, who is on its way to me at the time of this recording. He can swap places with Shurikenjin, and it's essentially the same combination except Gekiyatsu's in the middle, so it's not really anything too crazy and new. But there is that, and it doesn't utilize Powen Maru, UFO Maru, or Surfer Maru whatsoever, or Dino Maru for that matter. So that's a little bit of a bummer as well. But at the end of the day, I kind of dig the design that they got going, and just the idea behind it. It is definitely a brick. It is very Samurai Haoh-esque in that regard. But again, it's not utilizing all the mecha like Samurai Haoh did, so it kind of gets a little bit of a bump down in terms of a grade for that. But for what it is, I dig it. It still rolls really nice. If this was motorized, I think that'd be really cool, but unfortunately it is not. So yeah, it's from the back, it is gaudy as all but. Like literally, but from the front here, I dig what it's got going. Little Shurikenjin's a little bit much for me because I feel like his scale is way off. Like that is like awful scale. Like he mass shifted up a lot for that to be right. But regardless, it is what it is. Overall, Lion Haoh is actually kind of neat in its own way. It's probably my favorite of the bigger robots that I don't want to say gotten recently. It's a step up from Hyperesha Teo for sure, but I don't like it as much as Brigigas, for instance. Its lion mode is pretty cool, and it's fun to find things that can ride inside of its little open chassis area. Seat area? I don't know what they call it exactly, but that's a little bit fun for display purposes. As well as the fact that the lion mode, or the robot mode, looks nice. I like the way it's designed. It's fluid and neat, and I dig that a lot. Yeah, it's a brick, but there's really no way around the brickish portion when you're working with a robot of this magnitude. Haoh Shurikenjin is cool. It's unfortunate that it doesn't use all the pieces of the line thus far, like Samurai Haoh did, or Engine G12, or something like that. That's something I really look for in these robots, and it's a shame that we haven't really done that in a while. It's close, but no cigar, considering Gekiyatsu Daioh is a thing that exists. But if you like it, go ahead and pick it up. It's actually pretty cheap on the aftermarket. There's a lot of sales. Hobby Search has had it on sale a couple times now, and I'm sure you can find it pretty cheap on places like Mandarake and stuff. It just wasn't a super popular robot, so it's pretty easy to get a hold of for a fairly cheap price, but keep in mind he weighs a lot to the point where I can't really even lift this guy with one arm. Oh god, no, I can't actually. But I'm weak, and his sword fell off, so I'll just keep that right there. So keep that in mind as you are buying this, that shipping will be a pain for something this big. But if you like it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's got a lot of cool things going for it, but it's got that whole brick thing that a lot of people seem to not like. And they're in for a treat with Geoger. So that about does it for this review. Again, I'm absolutely sorry for the presentation of this. Way sloppier than my normal reviews, but that's what happens when you're dealing with something this huge. So, if you like it, go ahead and blast that like button, comment below, and subscribe for more. So, as always, thanks for watching, take care, and have a great one. Bye.